You want to know what a man looks like? Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that is a man. A man of a small build, a hunched bag, not the finest of appearances, radiallahu anhu, but that was a man. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam passes away, droves of new Muslims, they leave the religion and they try to change Islam by saying, no more zakah, we don't pay it. Abu Bakr says, we will fight them until they pay the zakah. It's the right of the poor. The entire Muslim community was against him. Even mighty Umar himself, radiallahu anhu, he says, leader of the believers, we're not ready for this war yet. And Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu grabs him by his clothes and pulls him to his knees. And he says to him, you were a tyrant when you weren't a Muslim. And now that you've become a Muslim, you've become a coward? He said, انقطع الوحي, no more revelation from Allah. And their religion now is perfect. Do you think I will allow anyone to weaken this religion when I am alive? That is a man. I tell you what a man looks like. Amr ibn al-As radiallahu anhu is busy conquering Egypt, and he struggles to finish the conquering. And so he sends a letter to Amir al-Mu'mineen Umar in Medina saying, I need men, I need reinforcements. Umar sends him a letter. He says to him, I'm going to send you 4,000 men. They wait. 4 men turn up. Amr ibn al-As, he says, I told you we need men, we need reinforcements. You promised us thousands, you've sent us 4. He said, I have sent you 4,000 men. Because that is Zubayr ibn al-Awwam. And that is Ubadah ibn Samit. And that is Maslama ibn Makhlad. And that is Al-Miqdad ibn al-Aswad. Every one of those 4 men is equivalent to 1,000 men. Now you line up all of those brothers in the music industry and all of those roadmen, put them all together, all thousands of them. They don't even come up to the foot of a man, an arm of a man, the mind of one man. 4 men, 4,000 in the eyes of the Sahaba. That's what a man looks like, my sister. And that is what a man looks like, my brother. What is a man? A man is Umar radiallahu anhu, whom the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam says to him, I have seen that the devils of the human beings and the devils of the jinn, they run away from you, Umar. Not a slave to his desires, not a slave to money. Khalid radiallahu anhu was a man who said that on the battle of Mu'tah, 9 swords crumbled in my hand. And Umar radiallahu anhu had to demote Khalid and take him off from his position because he was an unstoppable might in the cause of Allah, that people began to forget that victory is not from Khalid, victory is from Allah. That is what a man looks like. Not someone appearing behind a video with rented money, rented apartment, rented jewelry. I don't want to say rented women as well. These are men. What does a man look like? Uthman ibn Abi Talha is a man. And this is interesting because he wasn't even a Muslim at the time of the incident that I'm going to share with you. This is how men behave with women. And then you compare it against what you're doing or what you're seeing other people doing. Uthman ibn Abi Talha sees our mother Salama on her way from Mecca to Medina by herself. She makes her way to Medina. That's a 2-week trip, by the way. 500 kilometers on foot. Uthman ibn Abi Talha sees her. He said, Salama, where are you going? She said, I'm going to my husband and my children. He said, who's with you? She said, no one except Allah. He said, I will not let you travel by yourself. I will take you. That's a pagan. And by the way, he had beef with the Muslims, Uthman. His dad was killed at Uhud, his 4 brothers and an uncle. This was an opportunity to do something evil with a woman of the Muslims. She said, he was one of the most honorable people I met in my life. When we needed to travel, he'd ask me to move away and he would lower the camel. And then he would turn away to give me an opportunity to mount the camel without him seeing something that he shouldn't see. Then when I was on the camel, he would raise it and pull the camel towards Medina. Then when we needed to stop for rest, he'd bring down the camel. Then he would turn away and move so that she can come off the camel without him seeing something he shouldn't see. And then in the evening when they needed to sleep, he would take one side of the valley, she took the other side of the valley. He kept his back to her and would fall asleep, wouldn't speak to her, didn't touch her, didn't try to harass her. And he did that for 2 or 3 weeks, making his way from Mecca to Medina, 500 kilometers on foot, till they got to the gates of Medina. They're now in Quba. He said to her, you see the tribe? She said, yeah. He said, your husband is over there. Go and join him. And he waited until she disappeared. And then he turned back 180 degrees, making his way back to Mecca. Another 2 weeks worth of travel in the desert life. Was that for Allah? Was that for religion? That's a pagan. He's a man. Rajul. Our mother Salama, she comments, she goes, I don't know of a man who is more honorable than Uthman ibn Abi Talha. And alhamdulillah, Allah honored him with Islam and he took his shahada, because a man like him deserves the religion of Islam, and Allah knows best who deserves his religion.